Hey everybody, welcome to Samco Workshop. We are going to talk today comparing the Wrangler Rubicon Extreme package, which we know is out now, okay, for 2024. It was out in 2023, I think, too, for Select. I don't know, but it is available in 2024, even on a two-door. But the Wrangler Rubicon Extreme package versus the Bronco Sasquatch package, where does it stand up? We got some numbers here. We're going to go through them really quick. I'm going to be showing you a lot of video on both of these vehicles down here in the description for you, or so you're not description, but down in the bottom of this video, you'll be seeing them to get some comparisons. But then we're going to talk about real world thoughts, my opinions. This fact-based, my opinion stuff, opinion-based. So it may vary for you. But, so where do we stand on this thing, okay? So the Wrangler Rubicon Extreme package comes with 35-inch tires automatically. It comes with a relocation kit for the rear spare. It comes with a lot of stuff you're getting for about $3,500. That's all geared towards putting those 35s on there. But it doesn't change the gearing, I don't believe. I couldn't find that anywhere. And you could technically put 35s on it, even on the stock wheels that come on it, for much lower by just buying a regular Rubicon. So the price could come down a lot. And you can even fit a 35. So basically, you're just buying tires and then the upgraded rear tailgate mount for your spare tire. So it's not too involved to put these 35s on there. You don't technically have to get the Extreme package if you don't want it, but that does come from the factory with the exact same size tires as a Bronco Sasquatch package. You also don't have to get a Sasquatch package because you can get a Bronco in a non-Sasquatch with the lockers and sway bar disconnect and everything too. So they kind of average out. So let's just compare the top dogs, the Rubicon XT, or Extreme package as I call it. I'm calling it XT, but Extreme package versus the Bronco Sasquatch package. Now, both of them are going to be on 35-inch tires. Again, I will note that you could buy a regular Rubicon and make it into an Extreme very easily. You could buy a Bronco non-Sasquatch and make it into a Sasquatch pretty easily. However, the Sasquatch does give a lift in here, where the Rubicon already has the lift on it already, so the XT doesn't offer any extra there. Think food for thought, but let's compare both of these together. Ground clearance wise, Wrangler Rubicon, we're getting 12.9 inches of ground clearance on the Extreme package. Here we're getting 11.5 inches of ground clearance on the Sasquatch package, both on 35s. When we look at the approach, breakover, and departure angles, Wrangler, we're getting 47.4 for approach, 29-degree breakover, 40.4 for the departure, and we are getting, for the Bronco Sasquatch, we're getting 43.2, same 29 breakover, and the same 37 for the departure. So a little rougher on the numbers here, but still, Bronco's an amazing vehicle. For the front suspension, solid front axle, independent front suspension. Where that's going to differ is the Bronco is going to be much better to ride on the road. The Wrangler is going to have much more off-road capability. Okay, it's just kind of how it's going to work. You cannot beat solid axle articulation. I know you got a sway bar disconnect on a Bronco that does work, but you're not going to get the type of travel because you're getting on independent suspension. That wheel can only travel this far. What it does on a solid front axle, they pivot as well, so you get a lot more out of that. So it depends on your purpose. On the road, the Bronco is going to be nicer. Off-road, the Wrangler is going to be a little better and a lot more durable. There's no denying that there's a lot more durability and robustness in a solid front axle than an independent front suspension with CV joints and CV axles and things like that. Rear suspension, both are coil. Okay, it's a wash there. Weight-wise, the Wrangler is going to be 4,200 pounds. You're looking at 600 pounds more for the Bronco Sasquatch. That may matter, that may not matter. That's quite a bit of difference, but it may matter, may not to you. Horsepower and torque. We don't got a lot here in the 3.6 Pentastar version. Now, you can get the 4xe and jump that up a little bit, but I don't want to talk about hybrids or any of that kind of stuff. We want to stick with, ICE engines. Internal combustion engines, straight up, no hybrids. The 3.6 Pentastar here, you're getting 285 horsepower, 260 foot-pounds of torque. Some people are like, whoa, that's nothing. I'll tell you what, it works fantastic, and the gearing ratio in a Jeep is amazing. I love it. So I'm not knocking that at all. Here you're going to 330 horsepower. If you upgrade to the 2.7 V6, you're getting 330 horsepower, 410 foot-pounds of torque. So fantastic. Okay, it's great. There's no doubt about it. Again, I'll leave my opinions till the end. Let's keep on stats. Lockers and sway bar disconnect. Both of them have the same, a rear locker, a front locker, and yes, a disconnectable sway bar. They are the same all the way across the board. Ford built this Bronco to compete against that Wrangler, and it did a good job. Removables, same, doors, windows, you know, that kind of stuff. It'd probably help if I actually finish that and actually put the E on here, but that's what happens. My brain goes faster than my hands do sometimes. But they're the same all the way across. Wheelbase, okay, distance from the back wheels to the front wheels, the same, basically, right there. Price-wise, they're about the same. Now, the Bronco might be a smidge cheaper than this, but you can also, like I said, it's kind of a wash. It depends on your trim levels and things like that. Rubicon is the top level trim. The Bronco Sasquatch, this was priced out at like a Badlands. Outer Banks is going to be closer. So they're going to be basically, in my opinion, they are for all practical purposes a wash. Price-wise the same. So on paper, they're both very, very credible vehicles. Don't think for a second they're not. They're the two most capable off-road SUVs ever made. I know some of you Toyota guys are going to jump in with the Lexus is this, and I don't care about any of that. There is no SUV available today, period. Not the EOS Grenadier, not a Land Cruiser. There's nothing made today that is going to have the capabilities that these do. Plain and simple. Argue it all you want. Think what you want. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying, these are the two top dog SUVs as far as capability and off-road go. And they're built so close to each other in every single aspect. They're pretty amazing. So, but I've actually been in both, and we've drove both. I don't do driving reviews. I don't do that on purpose because that is 100% opinion-based, and I try to keep everything factual. So I do not give you driving impressions. However, I have drove both the Bronco and I've drove the 2024 Jeep. When you saw these videos, I drove those vehicles. But in comparison, where do they stand in real world? Here's my take from an opinion point of view. The Wrangler has more functional space inside than the Bronco does. Okay, the inside space in the back end, when you fold the seats down in a Wrangler, it's a lot smoother transition. There's more depth in there, it seems like. There's more usable room. I like it better. So for what I do, I can sleep in a Wrangler real easy. You cannot sleep in a Bronco, because, and you'll see it in the video, because that Bronco has a extreme up tip like this by where it transitions to the seats, where the Jeep one is very small in there, so there's a big noticeable difference in there, and in space. Personally, I think that the Jeep wins in that category. Build quality of as far as the parts, the capabilities there, the toughness of everything for off-road use, again, my opinion, I think Jeep wins. Everything in the Jeep, even some of the stuff, like even the little compartment for where the storage is in the back of the Bronco, I was almost afraid to put any weight on it. I was scared that something might happen. I'm not saying it would have, but it is much thinner and flimsier than what Jeep is. There's a lot of things that Jeep does well, but keep in mind, Bronco is in a first year or first edition, okay? This is the first run of this. There hasn't been any updates, no second, third gens, nothing like that. Jeep's been around since 1941. So Jeep's had a long head start to get things fine-tuned and figure out what works. Bronco has not yet. So Bronco is still killing it. They are doing fantastic on that kind of a level. As far as the view out of these vehicles, Wrangler wins hands down, in my opinion. But the view out of the Bronco is a very good view. I'm not taking anything away from it, but the hood is much taller. It is much more straight out. It's got the wings on it, which are nice, and those really do help guide you where the corners are when you're off-road. But it looks massive. When you're in the Bronco, you feel like you're driving a Super Duty pickup is what you feel like. It's massive in feel, in size. Not in interior space, in vehicle size. It's just very big. Where the Wrangler feels very small and compact and nimble, and you can get in there, yet in my opinion, the Wrangler has more space inside, more usable space set up the right way. So pros and cons to both. I love the mirror setup a lot more on the Bronco than I do on the Wrangler. I like the fact that they're on a pillar mounted rather than being door mounted. Each one of these things have some pros and cons. I do not like the way the window setup works on the Bronco. I don't like how it drops itself, comes up, drops, comes up, does this weird. I can see failure points in there, although I've not heard of any yet. So we shall see. But I trust the Wrangler better when it comes to the way its build quality is with a lot of that stuff. Again, personal preference. And ride quality wise, there's no doubt that the Bronco rides better on the road. It's just smoother, it's easier, it's more responsive in the steering wheel. But I'm not saying that the Wrangler's any slouch either. The Wranglers have come a long way since my days at TJ's and JK's. It's night and day difference. Okay, they're amazing. But the Bronco with the IFS suspension definitely rides on the road smoother. It handles railroad crossings better. It's got some advantages to that independent front suspension on there. When it comes to the off-road numbers, all the way down, even though they are close, we have a true winner here on basically every level over this. But again, so close that it doesn't really make that much of a difference there. Power-wise and motor-wise, I was not able to put this in 4-low and tested crawl ratio and stuff. It's a test drive with a sales guy there with me. So I could not do that. So I can't answer on that. But I will say that a Rubicon that has the Off-Road Plus button, you have 4 high, and then you have 4 high with Off-Road Plus, which draws out those shift points. It makes it almost like a 4-wheel drive medium. I did a video on that. I'll link it at the end of this. But it really feels like it's a whole nother gear set in there. Even though it's just drawing out the shift points and holding the gears longer, it feels very good for what we want to do. I use that Off-Road Plus mode all the time. Weekly, I use that. So we have that option in there, which is really nice. And then Wrangler's crawl ratio, off the charts amazing for 4-low. So you really get a lot out of this. I know that the Bronco does very good as well too, so I'm considering them to be pretty close, but I don't know if I don't think that Bronco has like an Off-Road Plus button where you can draw out those gears. And some people think that's gimmicky. Like when I put that video out, some people are like, it don't hold gears, it don't do nothing. Yes, it does. It does a lot because I use it every single week. I love that button, and the fact that I can use my rear locker in 4 high. Ford will let you do that as well too. They'll let you use your rear locker in 4 high, and I believe in Ford you still have to go to 4-low for the front locker too, which you do in Rubicon as well too, but you can use your locker in 4 high in both of these. So beautiful setups. Okay, they're amazing vehicles. I can't take anything away from either one of them. Well built. When you look underneath of them, which you've seen in these, I honestly do believe that the Wrangler is done better than what the Bronco is. The Bronco's got all these, you got your trailing arm mounts there that are pretty big. You got this huge shock assembly and everything that comes down. There's a lot of crap going on under that compared to what you got going on under a Wrangler. But the Bronco Sasquatch also has trail turn assist. Now I think Wrangler has something like that too. No, they do. I don't believe they do yet. I thought maybe the Extreme package did, but I don't think I do, and I know the 392 I don't think does either. So I could be wrong. Sorry, mosquito. I could be wrong, but I know that these have that trail turn assist, which is kind of a nice feature. But especially on this one because it is such a big vehicle. It feels big. So in my opinion, which would be better? I think robustness, toughness, and off-road actual capabilities, I still believe the Wrangler would win. Even though they're so close. And I don't think there's anything you could do with a Wrangler that you couldn't do with a Bronco, and vice versa. On the road, I think the Bronco is going to win for everyday daily driving. I think there's more to it there. As far as the motor quality, the 3.6 Pentastar, I trust this way more than I do this one. However, that is not due to the motor because I trust the 2.7 a lot too. I've had the 2.7s in my F-150 since 2000 and whatever, 16? 15, 16, first one it came out with, that one gave me some trouble. And I had it in 4 different F-150s, but eventually they got those sorted, and that's a very solid motor. Even when the Bronco came out, though, it had some major valve issues and problems and things like that, but it's come a long way, and I would trust them about equally there. However, I do trust Jeep more than I trust Ford as far as overall quality. Ford has so many recalls. Ford quality has gone down faster than any other company out there, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just giving you stats and statistics and facts. And I don't, again, that dude is driving me nuts. I'm not trying to start a war there or insult anybody who owns Ford, because I would own one in a heartbeat. I'm just saying, statistically, Ford is struggling really bad. Okay, Ford is struggling really bad. Jeep is staying right where they have been. So is Ram, Stellantis. They're all what they are. Who knows what the future will bring? Toyota quality's gone down tremendously too. Chevy quality's going up really quick. It just is what it is. But me personally, if I had a choice between the two of these, it would be a very, very difficult choice. Very difficult choice. And honestly, there might even come a day where I own both of them. I would take this Wrangler for what I do, because I spend most of my time in the woods, and the back end has more usable space, more storage options back there, and more capable functional layout when the seats are down. To me, that wins right there. And I get all the little bit better of everything here too. So I would pick the Wrangler myself in a heartbeat. But I may also eventually buy this Bronco, because my wife she wants the Heritage Edition, the Heritage Limited Edition, in the turquoise with the white wheels, the white roof of this Sasquatch package, and that may be her next vehicle. I would have zero doubts about buying that vehicle. So really, it's probably the toughest comparison between vehicles that you're ever going to find, between a Wrangler and a Bronco. They are so close together. Both of them such great vehicles and so capable, but hopefully this helps you make your decision. In my opinion, robustness and off-road capability and features for that, the Wrangler still wins. But it's also been around for, 80 years to be able to fine-tune that. Bronco's off to a real good start. For on the road and for mall crawling and even going off-road and doing that kind of stuff, but for comfort on the road and things of that nature and all the new tech and stuff like that if you want in a vehicle, the Bronco Sasquatch is going to win. I am also an anti-tech guy. I cannot stand technology in my vehicle. I want knobs, and I want buttons, and I want simplicity, and I want durability, and I don't want to have all this extra crap. Less computers the better, less automation the better. I want to do it myself. So again, you take that into consideration when I talk about what I would and wouldn't like in a vehicle. So hopefully this gives you some ideas and some thought process on these, but I honestly don't believe you can go wrong with either one. This one here I did not talk a lot about, but this is a pretty big factor. Okay, this is a pretty big factor right here when you combine the weight difference of 600 pounds, and then you combine the fact that you got over 1.5 inches more ground clearance here, okay, than what you have here. That's a big difference when you talk weight, especially for what I do in the mud and in the swamps and in the sand. These two issues combined really do make this a big standout. Because of those, there's a lot of capability benefits there over this. But again, that's not going to matter to everybody. Okay, things are opinion based, but I noticed these little things in here. Now, would I buy a Wrangler Rubicon Extreme? No, I would not. I would buy a regular Rubicon, and I would put 35, 11, 50 tires on it, right on the stock wheels, and I would call it a day, and I'd be done. And then I'd put a winch on the front end, and I'd buy it with the steel factory bumper, put a winch on it, and I would be completely done and solved. With a Bronco Sasquatch, would I buy the Sasquatch package for $8,000 over buying, spending, whatever it is, another $2,500 to just get the rear lockers on a Bronco like a Badlands? No, I would for sure buy the Sasquatch package. So there's a difference there. Here I could save a lot of money and not have to get this package. Here I have to get this package because that's where you get the lift, you get the suspension, you're also going to get the tire size, you're going to get all that stuff with it as part of the Sasquatch package, and you're going to get the resale value of it being a Sasquatch package. So again, food for thought, lots of great stuff. Both these vehicles, absolutely amazing. And you can't go wrong with either one. My choice would be the Wrangler. My wife's choice, in not even considering the off-road stuff, but just from a drive perspective, she would take the Bronco. So, you can't go wrong either one. And I would take this in a heartbeat. If she buys a Bronco Sasquatch and then she turns around and goes to buy something new next, I would take that over and drive it and be 100% fine and happy and use it for a bunch of miles. So, there you go. That's kind of my thoughts. Thanks for watching.